Okay, so today we are going to talk about TableViewController. Okay, what is a table view? Okay, this is the table view. Okay, you can scroll up and you can scroll down, right? And there is it is basically a table, right? That's why it is called a table view. Okay, and it has a row one by one, right? Each row have a similar content. Okay, it can be a simple like this, right? This is what we are going to build today. Or it can very complex, like what you did on what you see on Facebook or Amazon, right? So when there is a comedy list, item list, right? Or the tweet, or the feed list, right? It's all the same. It's all using the TableViewController. Okay, so that is why I told you in week 3 or week 4, I forgot that this is the most important UI kit component that in the iOS programming, right? So if you master this, understand this, you basically, understand the most part of the iOS application development. Okay, so most development work happened inside the single row, or we call it cell here. Okay, so how you do this, how you make it very smooth. Okay, and you can see that the basic mechanism is that you can click and show the detail. Okay, and we are going to learn that as well, how we can pass the information, the object here, onto next page. Okay, so it's all implemented using this table view. Okay, so I have just uploaded the resources with this kind of image, pictures, right? This picture. Okay, so let's build it. Let's build that. Okay, I'm not going to do much concept explanation. Okay, we just jump into the code. Okay, and I will explain along the way. Okay, let's open a Xcode. Okay, let's open the Xcode as always, and click this create a new Xcode project. We are doing this from scratch. Okay, so choose single view application in iOS. Click next. Okay, give it a name, whatever you like, right? I just name it Lab 7 Table View Controller. Okay, open main storyboard. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we open create a new TableViewController that we are going to learn how to use that, right? So type in TableViewController. This yellow one, okay? So we created this new TableViewController, right? And remember that I told you guys the 3 steps, right? Whenever you create a new UI element in the storyboard, you need to create a code, a Swift code connected with it, and you connect them together by setting the customer class, right? So if you remember that, let's do that. Okay, so command plus N, a new Cocoa Touch class. Okay, and in here is not view controller anymore. It's UI. Okay, table view controller. You can also choose it from here. Okay, but make sure it is UI table view controller. It is a subclass of this one. Okay, and we just call it lab. Okay, lab list. Let's call that. Okay, lab list table view controller. Leave it the name as it is and add your name in the beginning. Okay, click next. Click create. Okay, we got a new file. Okay, and you can see it is very much different from the UI view controller that we used to do before. Okay, so don't worry, we will cover that as well later on. Okay, so first thing, third, let's connect go back to storyboard and click this TableViewController. Okay, you can click here as well. Okay, so in the customer class, we set it to the class that we just created. And remember to press return, okay, and confirm that by click here. It will jump into the new classes, okay? Okay, that's it. That's how you connect them. And we are going to create a new view controller. Just a normal view controller in here. Okay. As the detail. So remember that we have a detail, right? When you click. So this is very, you already know how to do that. So just create a new file again, right? We can call it lab detail view controller. Sorry, not table view controller, view controller. It is a subclass of UI view controller. Okay? Okay, go back and connect. Lab detail view controller. Confirm that. Okay, no problem. Go back. So next, so whenever we create the cell or the row, we want to jump into the detail view controller. Okay, so you can see that it is called prototype cells. Okay, when you see the demo that we have, right? Every cell looks similar. Okay, that's why it is called prototype. So you can see that. So it's not like we create here, jump here, create here, jump to here. We have to create like 7 or 5 segments. It's not work like that. We only make one, okay? Make one, like because they are all look the same. They are all only one prototype cell. So we only need to connect this. Click here. So table view cell. It's hard to find it on the UI. You have to click it on the left panel, okay? So make sure you click this table view cell. So this is the row, okay? So we want to connect every row into the next page, okay? So how to do that? We right click and drag this cell into the detail view controller, okay? And then we choose this show. Okay, it will create this segment for us, okay, which we already we have seen before, right? Segment. So after done that, there is a problem, right? So if we run that, it will only go to this blank page that created by default by the system, right? However, we want to use this new table view controller as our main entry, okay, as the first page, right? So the way to do that is you have 2 ways, okay? So you see that there is a little arrow in here, right? Little arrow in here, right? So you drag this arrow, okay? Drag like that to this view controller. See? You see that is a storyboard entry point. So that means, okay, it's going to start at this page. Okay, not this page, right? You can choose it to anyone, but we choose it to here, okay? Or like you can like toggle this right panel, right? And in here, there is a thing called initial view controller. Okay, if you toggle that, you see this arrow come back again. And if you click this view controller, and toggle on this option called isInitialViewController. And there's this inspector. It will jump to here. Okay, it is the same operation if you drag this back and forth. Okay. So make sure you do this. And now we do not need this one. We can just delete it. Okay. We delete this UI, and we also delete the file here, the automatically created file, by right-click and delete. Okay. Choose this move to trash. Okay, not remove reference. So remove F reference will not actually delete this file. Okay. So move to trash. And we build this again. We can see a table view come up. It's not clickable yet, right? That is because we have nothing here, right? So there is actually 0 rows in here. Go back to main storyboard. And we first embedded it in a navigation controller. Okay, that looks better in this situation. But it's not a requirement, but let's do that. Okay, so click this TableViewController, and we embed it in a navigation controller. Okay, this time it looks better, right? With this little back button here. So that's it is the normal design, okay, the default design style by Apple, right? So let's run it again to see if there is any changes. So this is not the, okay, this is the one. Okay, not much change, only with this navigation bar show up. Okay, that's it. Let's go back to the lab list TableViewController. Let's look at the code here. View did load, we have already learned that. Okay, this is no need, right? We click that. Okay, so you can see there is some new method pop up, right? The one thing is called UI view data source. So this is the question that the table view asks us. Okay, so in order to make a table like this, the table view, okay, must know, okay, how many rows are there, right? Make sense? So in this case, there are 7, right? This is why it is called, okay, number of rows in section. So we must answer these questions. Okay, how many rows are there? This is the question, right? And also this is the question, number of sections. So sometimes there may be more sections, okay? Not only one, right? So maybe a section for maybe cars, maybe a section for books, right? That kind of thing. You know what I mean, right? So in this situation, we only have one section, right? So they all look the same. We only have one prototype cell. So this number of sections we can return for 1, right? And the number of rows in section, we can just give some arbitrary number, right? By maybe 7. Okay? This is the question. Okay? This is the question. It works. Okay? That is called like data source. So this is kind of predefined questions. Okay. And there are 2 types of predefined functions. Okay. So one type is called data source. It is the data related questions that we must answer. Okay. And there is another set of questions called delegate. Table view delegate. Okay, this is the UI related questions. that we must answer. Okay, what that kind of questions? Okay, let's type together by like you type in like the like they say like how height each row, to how height each row will be of each row. Okay, this kind of question you also have to answer, right? So this is called UI related questions. So let's type in height here, H-E-I-G-H-T. Function is called height for row. Okay, so it's not automatically pop up. Never mind. Okay, I wrote it by myself. So if you type in height, it will pop, and you press ESC key, it will pop up some message like this, height for row at. So this is the function UI related, that basically what's the height, what's the width, how it is going to interact. Okay, this kind of appearance related questions. Okay, it asks us, okay, what is height for row at some row? Okay, what is the height for row 1? What is the height for row 2, right? You can even do something like this. Okay, if index, so index is just a little structure consists of, you remember the section and the row. Okay, since we don't have multiple sections, we only use the row. Okay, you can even do this if row equal to 1 and return, just to do experiment. Okay, typo. So let's put this function. Anyway, let's put this function in the top. Okay, because there is another function that we haven't implemented yet. This function, cell for row at. In order to for the table to display the content. Okay, we also need to tell the system or the Xcode. Okay, so what is the array cell looks like? Okay, what is the cell, the row in here? Okay, that is a function for this function to answer. Okay, it may look weird. The function name may look weird at the beginning, but if you read it like this, it is it make much sense, right? So it is read like, okay, in this table view, what's the cell for row at some index looks like? Okay, give me that cell. This is the one beauty of the Swift or iOS programming. The function name make it read like a normal English. Okay, they even have the cell for and at. Okay, we don't do this in Java or in Python, but we do this in iOS. Okay, it's read like English. You can know what this function means just by looking at the function name, and read it together. Okay, and it want a table view cell. Of course, you can create new. Okay, but there is a default function that is the standard way of using that is called DQ reusable cell with some identifier. Okay, for index. What does this mean? Okay, it means that now we have seven rows, right? But we only use like maybe 6. Okay, what I mean is when I scroll down, when I scroll down to here, the number 7, right? This row use this row. Okay, so they reuse the cell. Make sense? So imagine that you have 1,000 songs in a list in your Apple Music, right? We don't want to create 1,000 like UI element or cell or rows. That will be, consume a large of your memory, a large amount of memory. Also very inefficient. Okay, so in program they use this kind of technique, reuse, recycle it. Okay, how can they identify which cell to reuse? They use this identifier. Okay, let me give it a identifier. Okay, you can give it any name, but you have to use the exactly same name later on. Okay, so here we give it lab cell, and then we go back to the main storyboard. Okay, and in the table view, under the table view, you click this table view cell, and you open the panel here, and you can see under the attributes inspector, and there is a thing called identifier in the second row, right? And it says reuse identifier. Okay, this is the place that we set the exactly same identifier that we wrote in the code. Okay, which is lab cell in the case, and you press return. Okay, and let us add a label to the cell. You can just to confirm that it is working properly. Okay, so you can type in any test. Okay, I typed the lab name, right? And let's build this again. Make sure it's working the same on your side as well. Okay. This is the core concept, guys. It is a core concept in the MVC how to say schema. Okay, MVC, which is model view controller. Okay. The model view controller is implemented in iOS by this mechanism. This is the way, the predefined question is the way. Okay. This is the way how the view talk back to controller. If you don't understand this for now, it doesn't. It's okay. Okay, you will be more. Digest this concept later on. Okay, when you do more and more coding in iOS. Okay, so the problem now is like we need to design this cell, right? So first, let's dump the file, the images that I ask you guys to download, right? This picture, right? So click the asset here and drag all the pictures in here. Let's go back to storyboard. So let's make this a little big. So one question, guys, to test you guys. If I made this like 200 point height, will it change the height here? Yes, the answer is no. Okay. Check that. Because, yeah, here is only the view. Okay. The view, the size, the height of the view is controlled by here. Okay, this function. Even I comment this line of code, I cannot like set it. See? If I uncomment this, it will give a return. Default value of, I don't know, 20 maybe. Okay. So you can only specify the height here. Okay, guys. This is very important. Okay. So no matter how big you make it here, so you make it big only for your convenience to design the UI. It's not the actual prototype. It's not the actual height of the cell. Okay. So if you want to design two two cells with different height, okay, you should make different table view cell. What I mean is this, okay, you copy this lab cell, copy and paste, okay, make two, okay. So one is like 100 maybe, the other is, okay, maybe 200. Okay, and you also set in here, okay, if row equal maybe odd or like 0, you return 100, okay, else you return 200, and you get that cell with that identifier in here, okay. You know what I mean? You cannot like just do it in here this way, okay. This is only for design purpose, okay. And remember, when you copy paste here, you have the same identifier here, and it will cause problem because the system do not have idea which one to use. So the identifier is unique. You must ensure that by yourself, it's not ensured by the system. For now, I'm just going to delete one, okay, to simplify things. Okay. So let's design this a little bit. I'm making it a little big, okay, I'm making it 100, okay, 100. And I also made the thing here, okay, 100. So to make things consistent or easier for me, okay. So 100 and 100. Okay, this time it shouldn't have any problem, okay. So let's add an image here. So type in image view. Okay, make it a little small. So maybe 120 and 80, okay, and maybe here, and let's give it maybe a name lab 1, okay. And I change this UI view. I change it to the lab 1, okay. You can just type in lab 1 here. Okay, let's run this again. Make sure you make this working, okay. What's the problem here? We need to make this cell dynamic, right? Where can we change this thing? In here, right? So we got the cell, and we can configure the cell's content for each row, right? So the simple logic is like if row equal 0, right? And then what? Then the cell dot label equal lab 1, right? And else blah 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 blah. So the thing is we can get the row number, right? And then we need to call something like this, right? Cell dot something equal something, right? Or how can we do this above? So the index has the row number, okay. Index dot row equal 0. Then we got this line, this cell. So think about the customized UI button that we have done before, right? How can we change a button's like behavior or appearance like this, right? So it is the same like the bubble, right? Bubble dot something equal something, right? Remember? So if you go to here, the lab cell, and you go to here, you can also see that there is a customer class, right? So what if we create a new class and make this cell a customer class, and we connect this thing into that cell, right? Make sense? And then we can call cell.something equal to something, cell.something equal to something, to configure this cell based on the content dynamic. Make sense? So let's see how we can do that. Let's create a new class called UI table view cell. Okay. And then we just call it lab table view cell. Okay. And click next and click create. Okay. And the same old tricks, right? So go here, click this cell, go to here, custom class, lab table view cell. Press return, then make sure they are connected, right? And connect the Autolayout. Click this assistant. Okay, the assistant not working again. So guys, don't click the assistant. Manually find that file. Okay, it's very annoying, but okay. In here, find this table view cell. Okay, not controller. It's very easily to make a mistake. Okay, use this cell. Okay, not the view controller in the code, because you can also connect that thing to the view controller and it will crash. Okay. Let's go to this image. Okay, image in here. Okay, we just call it image view, so lab image view. Okay, and this label. Okay, lab label. And then let's go back to here. So technically, we already able to, do the things here. I'll show you how to do that a very dirty way. Okay. So we got this cell, right? And this cell, we already set it as a lab table view cell. Okay. Just add it in the end. Okay. Exclamation mark. Okay, we got the cell and we cast it into the lab table view cell. Okay, so in this way we can access the property here, right? So we can already do these things very dirty. Is that like if index row equal then okay, cell dot lab image view equal 0. Okay, dot image equal, you have to save, okay, to make the auto completion works. And we can just UI image, right? And image, the first one, okay, image literal resource name. And we just pass it the name, lab1. Okay, cell dot lab label, okay, dot test equal, okay, lab1, Swift basics. Okay, else. If can we do this? We can. It's just very, unprofessional and dirty, right? And naive, but we can. You know what I mean? You can repeat this several times to make the function work. Right? But also a straightforward way in terms of human thinking, right? Can you see? We changed this too, right? By the way, we still have more, right? Make sure you understand this thing here, okay? Of course, this is not, so to speaking, very elegant, right? However, it is the way that the thing works. Okay, what did you define the lab in? Okay, I define it in here, lab table view cell, but I didn't write the code here. Okay, I drag the outlet, so you have to open a new thing here. So in left, you select this lab cell. In right, you go to the lab table view cell code, and you drag things here. So this is basics. Okay, and now I'm going to do coding very fast to demonstrate you guess the right way. But if you understand this, you have no problem of doing that. Okay, the problem is we don't want to hard code it. Okay, we want all this thing to be retrieved from the code. Okay, and we don't want to do this. Even with the for loop, it's not the right way. Okay, the right way to do that, the first, we want to define a labs array. Okay, it is an array of the type of lab, okay, which we haven't defined yet. Okay, we need to define that, okay, in order to have an elegant implementation. Okay, so first create a file. It's just a Swift file. Okay, so we name it lab. Okay, so in lab we import UI kit. Okay, so it is a class that just called lab. Nothing else is the object. So it has two properties. One is image. The other one is the title. Okay, it is just the thing that we want. Okay, so inside init, it is extremely straightforward. It's just the title. Okay, and we just set these two things in here. So every time when you want to represent something in the object, you should define an object like this. So not using a dictionary. Okay, so inside here, so we have a lab, right? So we have to save that. So this should go away, right? So go away, and then we want to load these labs in here. So labs equal load labs in here. It's a function that we need to load. So I guess just going to load a function. Okay, load labs. So it's nothing else but just return an array of labs. Okay. So inside here, we define a result equals nothing. And then we define the labs one by one. Okay, so the lab one is just lab, right? And image and the title. Okay, so we want to put the things here in there. Okay. We don't want to do things here. Okay, so the image should be the first one. Okay, so Swift is this one, right? So we repeat this 7 times in here. Okay, it is the data. Okay, so I just copy paste the code that I wrote before, right? So so I have done extremely fast, right? So I got 7, and then we append the things add this thing into the lab, right? So I add all these 7 labs and I return that. So in this way, we have create the data in the beginning, okay? And now we're going to in here, instead of we hard coded it to 7, okay? We don't want to hard code it. What if we add 1 or we delete 1, okay? So we just return the labs.count. So let the count be the number of the rows. Okay. So in here, the things become extremely elegant. Makes sense. Here we just configure the cell in 3 steps. So 1, get the right data for the row. Okay, so since we have an array, so the data would be, so the lab would be the labs, okay, for the row. Okay, we already got the row in here, so we got the data, right? And then we configure the cell, right? So the cell, we don't need use it anymore, okay? So connect the data to the cell. Okay, we already got the cell, right? So the cell dot image view dot image equal, right? Sorry, it's not image view. Sorry, it's a lab image view dot image equals lab dot image. Make sense? Cell dot lab label dot test equal lab dot title. That's it. This 2 lines of code will do the works. Okay? We have done that.
Okay, we have finished the basic function of a table view. Next, we are going to try something interesting. Okay, swipe to left to delete some data, right? So we are going to do that as well in this demo. So it is pretty easy after we understanding the logic here. Okay, we just uncomment this method here. Okay, this function said, okay, support conditional editing of the table view, right? And it asks you whether or not you are allowed this row to be added using the gesture. Okay, so we return true, so that it able to be added, and we also uncomment this method. Okay, after you return true to this method, you must implement this method to do the actual work. Okay, there are different styles, which is sometimes you delete, sometimes you add. So we're only interested in the deleting effect. So inside this if editing style equal to dot delete, they have already the template already wrote this line for us, right? Because table will delete row and index with this is some kind of animation effect. Okay, so it will delete the row from the UI, right? And we also need to delete the row from the data source. So this is something we need to add by our own. Okay, we already got the data source, which is the labs array, right? So what we do, we only add 1 line of code, that is to remove the specific data, right? We find that, okay, we got this index path as well. We can use the index path dot row to find that a corresponding item in the array, right? We delete that first, then we delete the UI, right? So after doing this, let's build and run to see. Okay, let's swipe to left and the delete pop up, and we click that. Okay. We can also like swipe very fast or swipe to the end. Okay. Sometimes it's not easy to try in the simulator. Okay. But if you use an iPhone, it's very natural thing. Okay. So this is the gesture to delete. There are a whole bunch of other methods you can try. We are not going to cover that too much in today's tutorial. The last thing I would cover today is to passing the data. Okay, after we click some cell to the next page. Okay, this is something we didn't cover yet. Right. So let's go back to the code. So in the end, there is a function called under navigation, the function called prepare for segue. Okay, this is the place that when we pass data between view controllers. Okay, so most of code will be the same as when you pass in data from normal view controller. Okay, with only one difference. Okay, which I'm going to show you now. So let's write code like this. Okay, if let a controller, okay, we just call this the lab detail controller, right? So lab detail view controller, okay, equals segue dot destination, right? And as the type of it, so I wrap it safely, and okay. So here we would like to know which row is user selected, right? So then we can find out the data for that row, right? So in here, there is a function inside this table view. It's index path for selected row. Okay. There are two methods. One is this single from. The other is select passes for rows. Okay. So it is an array of index. Sometimes people may select more, but in our case, we only allow people to select one at a time. So we select this one. Okay. So it returns a optional type of index path. So let's unwrap it. So if let index path equal this one, right? Now we got this index path. And then we can use the same technique inside this function, right? To get the data for the row, right? So we copy paste that, got the data from the array with the index for row, right? And now we are going to pass this data to next page of view controller. Make sense? So the way we do it is pretty straightforward, right? We got this view controller. We just pass this let this view controller dot let equal let, and that's it. Okay. So there is complaint because we don't have a member let inside this view controller yet. Let's add that. Okay. Let's go to lab detail view controller, and inside here, let's add a var just called lab, and type is lab, but optional, right? We don't have a lab yet. Lab needs to be passed from the TableViewController, so that's why it is optional. Okay, and inside this view develop, we check if we have the lab passed or not. Okay, if it is true, if we go into this if statement, then it means we have got something from the previous TableViewController, right? Then we can set something like right, like a image view, some self.lab image view image equal lab.image, right? And self.lab label.text equal lab.title, right? So this two thing is the UI element we are going to add now, right? I just write it first here, right? So if you are uncomfortable with this, we just comment this two things for now, right? Let's add this to Autolayout in the storyboard. So let's go back here and in here, right? And we click this assistant view. Okay, and then we choose this left detail view control. Okay, we haven't added this two things yet, right? So let's add a label here and let a image view here. Okay, so let's drag this image. Just call it lab image view. Okay, lab image view. Okay. And this thing we call it lab label. Okay, and now we can uncomment this line of code, right? So we can already find just this one, right? To set this two. Okay, that's it. Let's run, build and run. Choose this one. Choose this one. Yeah, we successfully passed the data from the TableViewController to the DetailViewController. Okay. That's how you use the TableViewController. Okay. The UI didn't feel perfect yet because we didn't set the auto layout in the UI. Okay. So if we rotate this thing, it didn't look very, perfect for us, right? And also the text not showing completely. Okay. Let's quickly fix that. Although the auto layout is a complex concept, we can't demonstrate that just in a minute. But I'm just going to show you how to fix that in this case. Okay. So let's go back to storyboard and okay, here. First, we make it a little big. Okay. And let's make the text in the center. Okay. And then in the image view, okay. First, we want it to be centered, not like this, right? So right click and hold and to the background, okay, and choose the center horizontally in safe area, okay, and we do this the same to the label as well. Choose this one, and we also want it to be certain space to the top, so this is space. So it's the same trick to the background. So it doesn't matter if you do to here or to here, okay? But choosing the top space to safe area, okay? And we'll do the same thing for the label, okay? And we also want this image to keep the original aspect ratio, okay? So to do this, click this and click the icon here, okay? There is a thing called aspect ratio. Check this box and click this add one constraint. Okay. And one more thing is we want this label and the image to have a certain space in between. Okay. So this space. So this time we choose this label and right click and to the image and choose this vertical spacing. Okay. And that's it. So if you've done that, you can see there is a little warning here. You just click it and click this fix misplacement. Okay. It will automatically adjust the label based on the content here. Okay. But other after we run it in the runtime, it will adjust accordingly. Okay, so don't worry about that. But make sure there is no write warning here. Okay, that means you have some conflict constraint, which is very common when you're using auto layout. Okay, so after doing this, let's build and run. Okay, cool. Display perfectly. Okay, so let's rotate the device to the landscape. Ah, cool. Without a problem, right? So even in the landscape, it's also displaying the image and the text without a problem to the way that we want it. Okay, so that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you next time.